Welcome back, everybody, to A Lingering Sickness, Session 2. I am your narrator, Blackthorn, here. Last session, we were following a troop of, a mixed race troop of mercenaries attached to a Shadow Fae military unit that is now stationed in the Western Plains region of Arclanar's main continent of Aurum. The date, well, there's no true date or time because this is technically before time when mortals started writing down their history. This is prehistory, as it were. The Atlanteans have begun to invade the mainland, and the stage curtains opened to a scene on a hill. The fading light, the first day of this battle, is fading into the east. The dusk star, Vetruv, takes his light to the eastern edge of the world, which leaves us in the west, slowly in this dying light, this twilight time. The Atlanteans, superstitious and very by the book when it comes to warfare, they refuse to partake in battle after nightfall. Which is an interesting thing, as the Fae, as they are two vastly different cultures, also believe the same thing. But there is one culture amongst the Fae that is more nocturnal. They prefer to sleep during the day and to revel and do things by night, for all good things happen in the dark. Now, as our companions of this small troop are starting to come down off this adrenaline high of this pitched battle, you see the bronze and copper clad Atlanteans retreating from the battlefield. We are left on this hillside, a short ways away from this dread ritual site performed by these trolls you had slain just a few hours beforehand. Ilmatar, could you describe your character for us?
Oh, Ilmatar. All right, so Ilmatar is a Dawn Fairfolk. He is both a warden and a mystic, which oddly enough is not quite as common as one would think to merge both sides of that coin, so to speak. He stands roughly 5'7", 5'8". His hair is actually close cut for once, only goes down a little bit past his shoulders. For once, one of my characters is not done up with all the braids and the dye and, the colorful stuff that everyone's probably used to from me. He is, at the moment, pretty armored up. Everything is made out of that nice photoactive Fey iron that he loves to work with and have the coin to pay for. God, my brain today. His eyes, as they look down at these trolls, kind of have a piercing light to him as he turns to look at his other companions after doing all this. And remind me if I'm wrong, narrator. Dawn Fairfolk, the skin actually takes on like that burnished gold color, correct?
Yeah. You'll get a little darker if you sunbathe a little bit more. You'll bronze up, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oddly enough, bronze is the one thing he can't work with, but that's not here nor there.
Right.
But yeah, he's kind of standing there, a little exhausted from the exertion of the day, as the what remains of the sun does kind of reflect off of his skin. Those who kind of look up to see where he is, depending on their light, they might not be able to see him because all the metal from the Fey Iron kind of reflects said light. So to actually pinpoint him at the moment is kind of difficult to do. Other than his armor, which he has done up in a full kit, mail halberd, complete with a helm of sorts and a shield on his back. He also just has what would basically be a quarterstaff in his one hand. His belt is completely covered in pouches and poultices and everything else that both a mystic and a warden of his classification would need. But he stands there kind of imposing, but you can also tell he is tired today. Just really, really tired.
How many spell points does he have left after the battle?
Oh, God, give me a second. Let me find out.
Because you used some.
He has 8 out of 16 right now.
Oh, yeah, you're a little whipped.
Yeah. About half capacity.
So, slinking back up this hill from the encampment after you've done a number on their baggage train, Relantil, you will find your Dawn Fairfolk cousin, more or less an exhausted heat shimmer on the summit of this hill, near the ritual that you'd left some hours before. Describe your character for us, please.
So this figure, Relantil, as you said, slinks up the hill. It's more he flows up the hill with the grace of a hunting animal. His clothing, for the most part, is black, though through some odd dyeing process, there are streaks of green and brown here and there in it that makes it sort of blend in with the background a bit. Across his back, he has a large cloak. This one is the black of night. His hood is pulled up as the sun has not fully set. And upon his face, there's an ebon mask of a hunting animal. It covers the upper half of his face, the black itself sort of blending with the shadows of the inside of the hood. Beneath that, almost a ghost white chin and mouth seems to speak from behind the fangs of this beast. The mask itself is crafted in such a way that it gives the illusion of horns, almost as if it's to hide or mock the Dawn Fairfolk. It depends on the person who's looking at it, I guess. He looks something like that. But his large curved blade he has sheathed across his back. A bow, a bow he carries in his hand currently. A bit of the mud and blood of battle stains his boots and trousers, but the most prominent thing about him is the smell of smoke. There's a quirked smile on his face as he's backlit by the distant burning fires that the Atlanteans are most likely trying to put out desperately. As it not only did he light fire to part of their baggage train, but he also lit a few of their a few of their siege weapons as well, just for good measure. He holds his hand up, a gloved hand, across his face to shield his eyes from this bright figure of Ilmatar above him. And he said, as he tops the rise, he says, "How did your part of the battle fare, cousin?"
I ever tell you how much I hate trolls?
Oh, but they're absolutely pleasant.
These
You saw
ones were
how well
These ones were stereotypical, and I didn't like them.
Well, of course, it's never fun to be stereotypical. I mean, that, at least be original. Yes, I mean, tossing mortals into a boiling pot as a sacrifice. I mean, get more original than that. I mean, at least like flay them or something first. Or even better, some of them were actually quite attractive.
That picture there I just put up is a typical image of a troll woman. They almost never wear clothes. They don't have anything to hide, and they all have tails. Female trolls have tails. Male trolls, however, they've got that sexual dimorphism kind of thing going on. They're huge. They're bigger than ogres, actually, but for whatever reason, a troll, a woman, a female troll, is about the same size as a healthy human male. And after this battle here, you see a corpse of this mated pair just nearby, as a troop of Nemersians, these mortal people, come up the hill, almost like to regroup with you or to investigate. One of you assume like they don't have a military system, but their leader here, which you'd assume probably might be practically a captain of some kind. He has no title though. He hails you with a thick mortal accent, kind of stumbling through what his primitive grasp of Feywise is, and you've come to know after these couple months that the mortals that you Fey do interact with they know enough of Feywise to understand, like to take orders, but they're not fluent at all. Take orders and to understand how to conduct themselves with you efficiently in battle, but they're not conversationalists.
They're barely sentient, is what you're saying.
They're not subhuman, is what I'm saying, but they're. I mean, you can think that if you want, but this captain kind of looks down at the corpse of these trolls and something to the effect of, "Do you want these?" Kind of both to you and Ilmatar. Talking about the bodies.
Raylan will look over Ilmatar and says, "They're not going in Feywise. They're not going to do anything unnatural with them, are they? Because if they do, I don't object, but you know them better than I do."
Yeah, they don't have mortals where you come from like this.
No.
Far as I know,
Just
they're
look-
not going to.
But I have no use for them. I mean, is there some ritual you might need parts of them for? Is the tail important? He sort of motions with his hand toward the tail of the dead female troll.
He will reply with the tail might be useful, but I mean for eating. You complete deadpan. He takes his copper helm off.
Raylan looks at the bodies, look at the humans, look at the bodies, look at the humans. Like, if you wish, I mean, they may give you may bother your stomach a bit.
No, we'll be fine. They will be cooked. And he
Okay.
says a few words to his fellows, and one of them, kind of a somewhat brutish younger, well, we'll call him a youth, takes a long, broad copper knife, and he hacks off the female troll's arm, and if you stand there and watch him, he digs her, like, one of her forearm, her, like an ulna or her radius out. He busts it, and he starts sucking the marrow out of it with kind of like this dreadful slurp sound. It just sits there on a rock,
Ilmatar actually
Oh.
looked back at the cauldron that they knocked over, which is probably still dripping whatever broth.
They give that
concoction
thing
in
a
there.
wide berth. You know, I don't want that.
He looks at that, looks back at the bodies, looks at the one eating the marrow, and is like, you know, they were starting to drink that, right? That's, you know what?
Not good.
That's you do you. You do you. I got poultices in case he gets sick. You do you. I don't even care anymore.
I'm going to do would apothecary be what I would want to roll to see if this thing would actually cause them harm?
Eating the troll flesh.
Yeah.
As far as you're aware, they're just they're servicing the troll bodies like they would a deer.
Okay.
They're not doing anything with that cauldron. They're actually in a very
Okay.
superstitious fashion giving it a wide berth.
I'll walk over to the one fellow who's sucking on the marrow, lean down, look at him, and get right in his face and say, "You need to cook that first. We'll make you sick. We'll make your man parts fall off." And look him dead in the eye. I'm saying it slowly and Fey-wise.
He just looks at you. He sticks the bone back in his mouth and takes a long drag off of it.
Say it slower and louder. Because he'll definitely understand if I say it slower and louder, right?
He blinks at you and he takes it out of his mouth and he hands it to you. He says, "Do you want some?"
No.
Then go away.
I like my man parts where they are. As you wish.
Maybe he's already a eunuch, Rowan. Maybe he's already a eunuch.
He probably is at this point.
Oh, they're. If you leave these troop of 8 warriors to their business, they're gonna try and eat these trolls. They'll eventually move the cauldron off, dump it off like on the side of the hill, and they'll cook some of it. But the marrow, no, they'll
with the remainder of what's
slurp the marrow down raw.
Walk over, shaking my head up to Ilmatar and say, "They're savages." I mean, they don't even cook it first.
Savages, barely even. Wait, never mind. I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, what? Huh? Yeah,
They don't even cook it. At least cook the stuff first. Make a stew or something. I mean.
So, how do you guys wish to proceed?
Well, after dealing with that, Roland's going to, first off, he's going to ask Ilmatar, "Are you by chance like a commander back here, or I would like to report to someone about what the havoc that was caused earlier today and the openings that may have been made?"
As far as you guys are concerned, you two report to the King of Arborea, Volgareth, the giant killer.
We're probably going to go talk to Giant Killer and let him know what's going on. My people, I think, are getting ready to start their attack any moment now. As soon as that, he points sort of over his shoulder at the setting sun. As soon as that's gone, he doesn't look. He just sort of points in that general direction.
We'll actually change scenes here. When you get back to your encampment, the Arboreans are bringing back their wounded and their dead. Those Fae who are amongst their kin are burned on a funeral pyre and sent to Lekra. The fair folk are currently withdrawing to their hidden enclaves nearby. Let me get rid of this troll woman. There we go. Get out of here. You've been eaten. And it's kind of the feeling as you get it, you enter this encampment is similar to you guys are finished coming down off of this adrenaline high. They are still abuzz and excited as a warrior people will be. The
As we
giant
come
killer,
walking in.
he is presiding over the funerals.
Well, I'll lean over to Ilmatar sort of quietly so no one else can hear him and say, see, this is civilized. They at least cook their dead first.
Am I one of the priests who actually has to go help with funerary rites, being how high of a level I am?
I will say you are not required to, but it would behoove you to.
Okay. But I'm one of the ones that they would kind of look at me and say, are you doing this?
Right.
Yeah.
There's plenty of fair folk that were actually slain here, so it would be it probably would be respected. Actually, expected of you to preside over their funeral rites.
I also just know before you said I was one of the higher ranking mystics and priest here, so
right.
Okay.
Well,
he does that, then Raylan is going to find himself a pretty lass that may have a tear in her eye and try to comfort her.
Well, in an encampment such as this, that won't be hard. It won't be hard at all. Pick your poison, mortal, Arborian, or a fair folk woman, really, quite literally.
Let's see here. That is a...
Or the elusive half fae.
With the 13, do I really have to choose?
Probably don't. Don't. We'll say Arborian women are pretty stiff upper lip when it comes to their tears. But
that'll be
challenging when you need it.
While he's taking care of his priestly duties, I will take care of mine.
Right. Hang on here. Oh, well. None of these mourning women they appreciate the attention, but they're not in the mood.
We'll at least get the names of the dead that they're mourning.
Okay.
And how they died.
I will send
them to tell me their stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well that'll be a downtime scene for you then. Later this evening then, a rider from a distant tribe enters this scene here. You see the firelight of this encampment, and we'll see a trow woman astride an elk. As the scene unfolds for you, kind of in the dying light, you'll see the fog, not the fog, excuse me, the smoke from Relon's previous fire attack on the Atlantean encampment, and a flurry of thoughts flood into your mind. Something from a combination of "Oh, damn, I missed it," to "I hope that's a good fire." You don't really know what to think, but you do hear the sound of laughing in alien tongues, as well as the tones of fae singing on the warm autumn breeze. So you've got a mix of things on your hillside, and your elk kind of he sniffs at at the smoke on the wind, and he will quite literally attempt to turn the other way. Like, no, there's a fire over there. I'm an animal. We go away from fires. And of course, he's trained for war. However, Iosa, would you describe your character for us?
Iosha is a drow with rather dusky olive skin tone and long, coarse braided black hair. She is astride a tall war elk that he looks a little nervous being back in flames, which you can't really blame the poor guy considering what we've escaped from. The burning of our own village, he's not really wanting to go back to round two. Neither is she, but this is the best chance we've got at going somewhere that's not gonna be against us. So we're gonna try to press on towards the camp.
Okay. You come probably as a I don't know, can an elk canter? Can they jog? Probably something
Yes.
similar. You come at down the hill at a reasonable pace, unthreatening as you are, and laden, traveling it's unexpectedly very light for this adventure. But you do reach the edge of the encampment, and you are a strange and alien sight meets your eyes. You know what Fae are. You know what an Arborean is. A tall individual descended from the line of dryads with bark-like skin. You know what a Fairfolk is. A somewhat shorter, golden-skinned Fae with the antlers resembling more of a crown or the antlers of a deer. However, these Fae, as you can readily assume, they are Fae from their slight forms and oblonged ears, are stark white like virgin snow, and hair so black it's like strands of night. And you've never seen these before. And some of them are encased in sometimes a glittering and sometimes a matte black substance. It's got to be an armor of some kind, or maybe is that their skin? We don't know. And some of them are encased head to toe in it. But they move with the grace of all Fae. Some of the males are actually quite handsome. Some of the females there are stunningly and frightfully beautiful. But nevertheless, you're a little scared and intrigued. Oh, it's an alien thing, but oh, it's pretty. But one individual, not encased in this metal armor, this skin, some of them have, sees you, and he's armed with a bow, but he's not accosting you in any way. But he says something in a you get the feeling that he's concerned given your state and what you're wearing and the beast you're riding, but you're really not, you have no idea what the hell he's just said. It's probably a question.
I do not understand. I will communicate that in my native tongue, hoping he understands me.
Oh, the Trow language. All right. Well, does this particular sentry understand the Trow language? He doesn't. Of course he doesn't. He'll cock a very dark eyebrow and then holler at a couple individuals behind him, and a few of them will jog up, and then more of the same reaction of, what the hell? And, And one of them says to you, he actually will say in Feywise, do you actually speak Feywise? Do you understand it on your character sheet? You don't. Oh shit, then you don't understand that language either. It sounded similar to the language that the first speaker did, but the accent and syntax are just slightly different. Like the same root language, but two different trees.
I don't understand you.
I don't understand that one. After a few times of this exchange, you'll have a crowd of people, like a good dozen and a half of them. Ilmatar, you will from where you are in the encampment, you've finished your funerals, and you see quite a few individuals that are like gathering at what seems to be like the northwestern gate or fence of this encampment here.
Like alarmingly so, or just like an increasing crowd just keeps like.
Not alarming, but more curious.
Yeah, I'll walk over there.
You see a drow woman astride an elk.
How many points would the drow language have been for academics?
1.
Okay.
It's relatively easy to learn alongside.
I have like 3 or 4 grades in it, so I have.
Oh shit! Well then,
I have like 1 or 2 to spare, I think.
Okay. It's feasible. The language of the enemy. The enemy.
I mean, he probably would have taken the time to learn smatterings of Atlantean because,
well, for intelligence purposes.
Intelligence, and when you find lore of the enemy, you need to know how to read it.
Mm-hmm. But she looks like hell. Like she got a handful of things, and she looks like she's left home very quickly. She is not. There is no food on her. If there is, it's probably in a pocket. If she has a pocket, and she doesn't have a pocket, so then no, she looks like shit.
Do any of the guards like say anything to me about what's going on? I mean, I as a player, I know strange person showed up, language barrier.
Oh yeah, no, the Umbriads are they look to you as a native and they go, what the hell is this thing? Oh, it's pretty, it's got tits, but we don't know what is it. Is this a goblin? It's a very shapely looking goblin. Well, another one of the younger ones says, does it have a navel?
I'll see if I can find out.
Because if it has a navel, it can be bred with.
Keep it in your pants. Just go back a couple of feet, please.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll let you do the talking then.
Would Ilmatar know, seeing her, that she is a drow?
Oh yeah, you know what a hobgoblin looks like.
Okay.
You've probably killed several dozen of them in your campaigning days. They are not a welcome people amongst your people.
Yes, but she looks like hell, and I have to do hospitality.
Yeah, exactly. Regardless if drow are the enemy, there are the old traditions of hospitality and respect. The old gods demand it.
Yeah. So,
and as you know, the Shadowfae are going to be very hospitable here soon if you let them.
Oh, she'll get a welcome wagon, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Might even be a welcome train, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, she's dying over there.
Yep.
It's great. So, in Trowel, just because we're going to cut to the chase here.
Yep.
Yes, gather yourself there, darling. Gather yourself.
There we go.
Ilmatar, who is actually still in most of his armor. I mean, he took off basically the plate on top while he was doing the funerary rites, but he still has like his helm and his leggings and stuff.
Oh, he just took the top coat off, so he's in his gambeson.
Yeah. Just because there was a lot of kneeling and bending over and fire, and that shit gets really hot really quick.
Of course.
Just saying. So you're going to see this Dawn Fairfolk walk up, probably stay about 10 feet away. And he's going to get a smirk.
I do not speak your language. This
Oh, but
elk
I
is
speak
not for
yours.
eating. Oh, thank you. This elk is not for eating.
Okay. I will look back at the Umbriads and the other fair folk and just in that smirk still be like, they're not for
looking at the
eating.
elk.
Huh?
They're not looking at the deer.
Oh, that's why he gets that smirk and says they're not for eating yet.
There's a collective. Oh. Like the 20 guys that are there.
So turning back to hers, bit out of your way tonight.
Yeah, we're just trying to find somewhere that isn't on fire like our village.
Ilmatar will look back at the baggage train that Relin lit on fire. I mean, part of it's not on fire. Is that the part you want to come into?
Anything's better than nothing at this point.
All right.
One
Alright.
of the shadow fae behind her says, "Ask her how much she wants." There's a warm bear fur in my tent that's got a body on it.
Keep it in your pants and get back a couple of feet.
Well, they take a few steps back. But
Not gonna
ask
tell
her.
you
Does
Oh.
she have a navel?
Okay, so they quit asking me. They all want to know, do you have a navel?
Yes.
Yes, now shut up about it. No, you can't breed with her yet.
I need to know for the narrative what that last comment was not in her language.
No, when I'm
Okay.
speaking
All
to the Umbriads and the Fairfolk behind me, I am swapping back to Feywise.
Oh, okay.
Is it
All
loud
right.
enough to be heard in the distance a little bit?
You hear yeah, you do hear the call. It's not willing to be bred with yet. Pause yet.
My Rollins' head pops up and says, "A challenge." He'll start heading that way.
So looking back at you, how do you say her name again?
Iosha.
Iosha. Okay. Looking back at Iosha, in Trow, we're going to say for the sake of me having to repeat myself, when I'm speaking to Iosha, I'm speaking in Trow. When I'm speaking to the idiots behind me, I'm speaking in Feywise. Capiche? Capiche. Got it.
Capiche.
Capiche.
Apparently, you're very well liked here already.
A couple of them hoot and holler in the background.
In more ways than one.
Would they like to meet a spear?
They'd like you to meet one of theirs.
They
Does she get innuendos at all?
She might get that one.
a little, but
She might get
it's
that
a
one.
little bit lost in translation. But it's like, they can meet mine. I'll point at the spear on my back.
She has a bigger spear than you.
What? Oh, well. Relon likes those.
At that, Relin comes strolling up and says, "I like what?"
Big spears. Big spears, mate. Look at that one.
He says, "Ooh, that one is big."
It's
the deer
riding
comes
a
over and
deer.
he-
I'll kind of
And
just.
it's got a navel.
Of course, they have navels. They're yes, they're called the gax or the gaxkith. She probably knows that word.
Oh, these are trow. These are trow.
Trow?
They're different.
They are.
Hobgoblins.
So looking at you, I'll kind of wave you closer.
Okay. He'll come walking over and smile behind his mask. At this point, is the sun down, by the way, completely?
The sun is out of sight, but over the peaks, it's got kind of a really pretty like that sunset silhouette.
Okay. In that case, his hood will still be up at this point. And he comes over and he does a big sweeping bow to Iosa. He looks up and looks over at Ilmatar and says, "Does she speak?"
She speaks her tongue, and that's
Feywild?
it so far.
Oh, okay. I'll try something real quick. He looks at her and he says, "You're a very pretty lady in the Gax."
Thank you.
Well, that trowel, I guess, is what it would be called.
I am Iosha. This is not for eating.
Well, of course not.
Pointing
You
at
wrote it
the
on.
elk.
Well, what do you call it?
This is not for eating.
That's his name, apparently.
Okay. Well, not for eating.
One of the
yells-
younger warriors behind you, Shadowface, says, "Roland, what's she saying?"
She says that the elk is not for eating, though we have not yet determined if it is for copulating or not yet.
Well,
That will
we
be
don't
determined soon.
want the deer, but not her.
Really? Think about it. He
Roland,
turns
would you
back to
fuck a
her.
deer? Come on.
He
Iosa,
lifts
come
his
on.
hands up like so.
I'm
He
gonna
says-
follow
He call-
Ilmatar.
I'll follow
I-
along. I'll look to the other and say, "Gentlemen, just give her some space. We'll talk about this later." Feldane needs to have a word.
Oh, you priest lot.
Of
And they all
course.
fuck off.
Yes.
And no, they actually disperse
Yeah.
very begrudgingly,
Yeah.
kind of like some miscellaneous bitching is going on. Oh, because the priests always get first pick of the girls.
Yes. So as they disperse, he actually gets. It's hard to see this, but except for the expression on his mouth, he does have a bit of concern because obviously you look fairly travel worn and probably a little skinny for a trowel. And he says, "Are you? How did you find your way here? And where are all your possessions?"
The possessions were burned. I just rode here. I followed the berries.
He points to the distant fire over there.
No,
Is that where they were burned? Oh, okay, good. I was
long
worried there for a moment.
distance.
Are there more of you coming?
No.
That's good to know.
Do you have a job
Ilmatar?
for a warrior?
Possibly. And he looks in Feywild, and Feywild he says to Ilmatar, says, "Is there a problem with her being here? I've heard that your people and their people don't get along."
In fact, you guys are hereditary enemies.
Ilmatar's never cared about hereditary bullshit. No, he's going to look at Rel and say, "My God demands we give hospitality. As long as she doesn't cause issue, I don't see issue."
But will the rest of your people see it that way? I'm just trying to determine,
That's
should
the
we
issue, Mike. That's
is
really the
she going to if we keep her, should we keep her among your people, or would she be safer, though maybe a bit more attended among mine?
You just want a chance, don't you? You just
Well,
want a
yes,
chance.
of course, but I
You
also
sure you
wanna
weren't
make
a
sure
bard in a
that-
previous life?
No.
You
Although
act
I
like
hear
one.
Feldane has plenty. Well, anyway, I am not. I am not. Nor have I ever been a bard.
You act like it
So
some
that
days.
is true. Well, that's just because I inspire bards. So they try to emulate me. But no, he looks back and says in Trow to Iosa, he says, "You are welcome among my people. My friend Ilmatar here, his religion causes him to offer hospitality to those in need. but you may not find the warmest welcome further that way. And he motions toward where the festivities are happening and the funeral pyre. He said, but among my people, we're very sensual people, as you may have noticed, and you turn the eye.
I appreciate the offer. However, I am starting to wonder if I would be better in the forest.
In this forest, most likely not. It's haunted. But you mentioned if we needed a warrior.
Yes.
He looks at Ilmatar and says, we can always use warriors in a war. I mean, are they known as great fighters? These Trow, or you have more experience with them than I do. I was just taught the language before I came here. And as he's doing this, Iosa probably notices he'll turn to Ilmatar, then he'll turn back and he'll sort of scan you up and down. He does it every time he looks at you. He's like, it's almost like he's either looking for something or just admiring the form, one of the two. But he's definitely not hiding it.
It is common knowledge here in the West that Trow are quite terrific warriors, to be perfectly honest. One of the more favored combatants of Arborians is when they go to war, then when their tribes goes to war, they would prefer fighting Trow over mortals. Mortals are too soft. But of the goblin peoples, Trow are the most sturdy and actually fight back better.
So yeah, I'll look at you around and say, yes, she's a fine fighter.
And do you think, especially tonight with the passions being up, the wine flowing and such, would it be dangerous for her? He motions his head back towards where the revelry is going on.
Well, if we let her go back to the forest and she gets caught, it's going to be worse.
So she'll probably die out there. So
if some headstrong scout sees her, they're going to shoot first and not try asking questions.
Okay. Well, I can offer her safe haven. You can offer her safe haven, but is it known that Trower can be? And at this point, he basically switches over to Trow because we all apparently three basically speak Trow to bring Iosa into this. And he says, is it known among your culture for Trow to be hired as mercenaries or bodyguards by chance? Are there those who do that?
It's not common, but it can be done.
So, and would your people respect that?
That should be up to her, honestly. If she, the individual, is willing to work with Faye.
Well, back. Go ahead.
Is there armor and weapons involved? If so, yes.
I could possibly get some stuff that would fit her.
And we did lose Batraveus today. He has to go heal.
Yes. He was a great loss. He says, but she's not quite as big as him, though. So I don't think the stuff we had to make for him that would fit her.
No, but we do have that gap to fill now.
Are you any good with that stick? And he points at the spear on your back.
Would you like to find out?
Actually, yes, I would. I wouldn't like to die for it, for the knowledge, but I would very much like to find out.
Point me somewhere to practice.
Okay.
Or better yet, point me at an enemy you don't mind being on the pointy end of this.
Well, they're over there. He points back to where the fire is. They're currently inconvenienced, and they sleep at night. So they're beyond the flames. But tomorrow they'll at the rise of the sun, they'll be back at it again. So don't worry. Some of my friends are going to pay them a visit tonight and make sure they don't sleep very well. But is there like a drill yard nearby or a practice yard we could actually, like, where they have like maybe dummies set up for practice or anything like that?
Yeah, there's probably a small pitch nearby.
Okay.
The Shadow Fae that are here in this particular encampment are actually most of Roland's fellows of the Advanced Recon. There's only a few dozen of you.
Oh,
The
okay.
rest of you, the other 20,000, are maybe like a mile and a half back of that way.
Okay. Well, at this point, I want to sort of keep her here with the locals. I think, or at least if she's willing to do that. At some point, maybe she'll go back to the main camp, and we'll have her spoken to. But I want to see what she has. I want to see, because I want to, I also want to see, because I've heard
You
tales.
should just vet her right here.
Trowel. Yeah. I've heard tales of like from some of these fae and some of these the locals about how bad Trow are, or how sorry, not bad,
How awful they are to deal
effective
with.
they are. Yeah, so I want to actually see if there's actually any truth to this. So yeah, I'll say follow me, and I'll walk toward the pitch. So this should be fun, Ilmatar.
There's no small amount of leering going on as you're in an army encampment, and you're kind of the pretty new exotic girl.
And women are in short supply.
Not really, but you're unique.
Well, I will say this: you're
Ah.
the only Trow woman here.
Oh.
Yes. These pasty white fae are very much have a thing for your very dusky olive skin. It's so sultry. But yeah, no, you are led over to the pitch, and one of the younger fae and Umbreon kind of hops up a little excited, and you kind of walks over to Roland and like, "You gonna have a go at this one, or can I?"
Well, we're not trying to hurt anything. But,
Well, I don't want to hurt her. I kind of want to just.
Then be my guest.
Well,
show us your skill against this Trow woman. And he turns to Ios and says, "This young man has agreed to spar with you."
I'll hit him with the blunt end of the stick.
As you wish. So, please don't break him. I've asked him the same of you.
This fae, a little bit sturdier than a couple of the other ones. He's only maybe like a trifle shorter than Roland is, but he walks over to a rack and gets a pole arm. He kind of looks at your kit, and you're not going to understand him, but he just kind of just starts talking to her in Shadow Fae wise. I was, well, Roland, have her put on a coat. I don't want to cut her to ribbons.
Let's see. He'll yell at some. See if we can find a coat of mail for this trowel. May fit her. If you would look around, gentlemen. Look around. You'll find something, I'm sure.
One of the Umbreon women comes over with a bronze plated hauberk, sized for a woman's figure, and she like hands it to you.
I'm gonna nod very thankfully and accept it with both hands.
She'll walk away, get you a belt of an appropriate belt. There will be a copper fighting knife on that belt, and some tall sandals there for you. And this particular woman, you know her. You may Roland actually might know her.
Probably does.
Tanulia, she is a scout. She's not part of your unit, but hey, she's pretty good. She's got a cute butt, so yeah.
I probably know her very well then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to turn towards the boy and intro. Do you dare to challenge me and my elk?
Relon will translate that to him in Shadow Feywise. Ask if he dares challenge her and her elk.
He replies, "Should your elk wish to do battle with me, then I suppose.
We'll translate that back to Iosa.
But that one's not for eating, I'm told.
That is
So I would
true.
prefer it not."
Me and not for eating our partners.
Mm.
It would
All
be
right, then.
unfair, Iosa, if for you to fight against him with your partner, with him not having a partner of his own.
Understood.
I promise you no harm will come to not your elk who is not for eating.
I do not trust you. I trust the other one. I'm going to point at Ilmatar.
Okay.
Please take care of not for eating.
Oh, its name is
I'll
not for
take
eating.
care of
Okay.
him.
Okay. At that point, he sort of got because she referred to him as not for eating, not that he is not for eating.
Yeah, Aloin just kind of that elk's name is not for eating.
Yes, he'll say that in Shadowfell, so everyone knows the elk's name is not for eating.
That is quite clever.
Apparently, it's a trial thing.
Oh, well, how else you're supposed to designate the animals that are for eating, the women that are for eating, and those that are not for eating? He just kind of blurts out, "Wait, yeah, I did mean to say that. Yeah,
We've been hanging out with the Mercians for way too long, good man."
The Mercians taste better. Just kind
But proceed.
He walks out into the center of this pitch, and he takes a high guard with his polearm.
Children swing first.
Relin sort of laughs and he says, "She says, children swing first." And he sort of laughs at that. And he gets a glint in his eyes. And then he says back in Trout, "I think you may have gotten his fire a bit there, lass."
Good.
He actually pauses for a moment. He goes, "How young does she think I am?"
Let's just say I don't think she understands how long we live. She would be a bit of babe to us, but go with it. I'm sure she doesn't mean it as an insult. It's probably more because of your size compared to her. If the women are this big, imagine how large the men are.
Oh, well, all right. Well, fair enough. So what we would technically do here is we would make reaction tests, but if you're going to let him swing first,
Oh yeah. I'm not even going to try to block it. I'm just going to take it.
you're going to take it. All right. Okay. Goodbye. All right. Okay.
Meanwhile, Imitar is just there along the side with a smirk and his pipe going. So,
Oh, that one's actually cocked. All right, here. Uh, 24 points of vitality damage.
Okay. I'm still standing.
Remember, though, you have to roll your damage resist.
Yep.
Her, you've got one, so yeah, it'll be a D8 plus 1.
18, 17, 16. So I take 15.
What did you roll?
An 8.
And you have 1, so that's 9. Okay. What's that? Your total health?
29.
29. So you take how much now?
15.
Gosh,
Mhm.
20. Nice. That's almost half.
That's still half.
That's still.
Still a heck of a blow.
Yeah, he deals you a nice
Doesn't
blow.
damage resist explode?
It does actually. Roll another one. Either way, you're gonna get the shit wrung
6.
out of your bell. Okay. Well,
So that's 15
okay.
total.
That's
What did you roll again?
still gonna fucking hurt. 24.
You took 9 points
So 9
instead of
left,
15
yeah.
points.
So I'm down to 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you get the shit wrung out of your bell.
Look at him. How cute. My turn.
Okay. Make an attack roll.
And it's 1d8 plus physical modifier plus 1. Okay.
An attack
2d8.
roll.
2d8.
He's, you're the one who let him hit you. He is not gonna let you hit him.
Yeah, so it's 2d8 plus your attack bonus with that weapon. Yes.
And my attack bonus is
Your
8.
physical
Okay.
modifier. There we go.
7 7 is 14. And then an 8. 22.
22. Alrighty. Oh yeah, go ahead, roll damage.
All right. I don't know what kind of weapon I was given, so I'm just running on my basic spear.
No, it's just a D8. Yep, you're good.
Okay, so that's 7.
You're using a polearm. He picked up a polearm.
12.
12. All right. Ooh, shit. Okay. He takes no vitality damage this round.
All right.
He's gonna come back with an attack here too.
This time I will defend.
Well, I would fucking hope so. 19 there.
So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15. So on defense. So
Okay. That is 14 damage coming in. Go for armor test.
7.
7. Okay, nice. Oh, you're
So-
actually taking 7. Okay.
Yeah, don't I yell at, don't kill her, man.
Um,
Sort of as a joking way of saying it. You know, he's not objecting. He's
yeah,
just like,
right.
"Hey."
Oh,
I won't
I'm
kill her.
I count
I'm
poultices for a
pissed.
reason. It's okay.
pissed.
That's fine.
I'm gonna let out an angry roar and attack him.
Go for it.
What do double 8s do?
It's a crit.
Okay.
Ooh, we getting a red mist going on.
Oh yeah. She's not a barbarian though. It
Aw.
would have been nice if she was a barbarian. She shows what, warrior, I think.
hmm
Well, okay. Do you want me to roll on the crit table? Do you want you to roll on the crit table?
I don't know how to roll on the crit table.
All right. Roll
Just
me a
another
D8 and I'll go look it up for you.
7.
A 7. All right.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, right. Since they're actually using subdual damage, roll me damage here, quick like.
All right. It's going to be 3, 8 total.
8 total damage. Okay. So you actually can't cut his arm off with subdual
Oh,
damage.
crap.
No, but she can bust
She
the.
could break
She
it.
can. Yeah, she can still break the bone.
Mm,
Oh,
hang on here.
I mean, if we're working purely in subdual / non-lethal terms, she's made it so he can't use it the rest of the fight.
Right. He's gonna get a pretty bad bruise on that arm, right or left, Lynx?
High, high right, low left.
No,
Roll
pick
one.
a limb.
So left.
Oh, left limb. Oh, okay. So yeah, we hear a nice resounding thwack and a thud as that connects on his arm, and he just kind of gives us, all
Don't
right.
just let her beat you, though. Rollin says.
All right. All right. He's gonna come back. He's gonna take a hell of a penalty because he can't use much of that arm left. With
And then
Also, he took 4 additional vitality damage on top of what she rolled.
right. Oh, I know. I'm keeping track.
Okay.
He still has more vitality than she does, though. He's got a another 19 on the die coming in for an attack.
17. So he
Well,
hits.
shit. All right, fine. All right. That is 15 damage coming in there.
8 and a
After a minus
6
4
and a
penalty.
1. 15.
So you don't take any damage this turn?
No, I rolled an 8 and a 6 and a 1. And then my +1. Damage resist.
Okay.
Yeah, so you take no damage. He was doing 15, you resisted 15.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't take damage this turn. Well, actually, let's see here. Roland and Ilmatar, I need you guys to make an awareness test.
Awareness. Where is my character sheet? Here we are. Awareness. 15.
15.
Yeah.
The King of Arborea is standing to your left.
Yeah.
Let's say 25.
25. Yeah, well, then he's actually standing between you two.
Yeah, I kind of look over, take a puff to the pipe, give him a little salute with the other hand.
And
Would
he
I
says,
know
so what's this
he-
lot here?
Oh,
Who let
she
this
had-
trow woman in?
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did?
Right,
Oh,
he did. I did too, though. We're seeing if she's any good. I'm thinking about taking her on as a retainer. Are they any good in a fight? He says to the King of Arborea.
I don't know. Trow are really good fighters.
Well, she seems to be pretty good. She's delivered a terrific blow to
I've seen
Otherwine
this.
arm.
I've seen that. But I would very much prefer, and he actually kind of calls over this din, if this tribal girl did not bruise up any of more of my scouts. That'll be enough of both of you.
So be it. Other one, stand down. Iosa, you've proved yourself.
I don't get to stab him.
No. Yet.
Aluan stands up straighter. He kind of touches that bruise on his left arm. He goes, all right, that'll be a good one. And he gives you a deep and respectful bow. And he goes off and finds himself a drink. That's what he does.
She will return the favor and say, I wish it could have been a fight to the death. Would have been glorious.
You would have been the first trow woman that I've killed. I don't like killing beautiful things. And he melts off into the into the crowd there.
Kiss his nose off.
Oh, wait, what?
I can see him blowing her a kiss as he leaves.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, of course that happens. Duh. I mean,
Oh.
Shadowfae, quite a charmer.
Iosa will take off the armor and return it to Tanulia. Again,
just
with
puts
a
up her
respectful
hand.
bow.
That one's yours.
Thank you.
the king of Arborea goes back to his I suppose back to his people and leaves his shadowy scouts to their revelry. But that scene kind of dissipate there unless you guys actually want to do something else. The fair folk themselves are actually keeping to themselves. So
Okay.
you haven't really drawn too much of a negative scene from them.
Go and check over Iosa, and so I'm just making sure that I'm also a apothecary myself. So is Ilmatar. Would you like to help me, Ilmatar, and make sure she's hale and healthy at this point to make sure no permanent damage has been done?
I'm pretty sure you got this one.
Oh yes, I can do a very thorough
Wouldn't want to
investigation.
interrupt your work.
Well,
He's very handsy. Put it that
but
way.
I'll do my apothecary here.
It's also
Did these get hurt at all? Oh, excuse me.
It's also-
it's 19 on the check.
Oh yeah, no. Did you?
Yeah.
Get your finger out of her ass, man. Stop.
Can I get her
It's also-
temperature?
It's also Rowan would know that when Ilmatar gets his pipe lit up, he doesn't like to douse it unless he absolutely has to.
Understood.
So
Yeah, he's although he seems like as he's doing this that he's a bit leery, is looking at things and such like he shouldn't be. He doesn't really put his hands anywhere that would be overtly invasive. He's very, because you've stated that you're not interested at that time, so he's not going to be that way. But he is going to. You recognize the hands of a healer.
Appreciate priest.
So,
yeah.
thank you. Well, and is there a decent spear over on the rack currently?
Most of it's bronze, but yeah.
No. He'll go find one and pick it up and go over and hand it to her and says, "You've earned this."
Thank you.
Okay.
Better than I've ever owned.
Okay. And he after he hands it to you, he steps back and he looks over at Ilmatar and says, "Would you be a witness, sir, please?" He looks over at Ios and says, "Would you swear yourself to our cause at this time?"
Yes.
You guys really don't know what cause you have. You guys are Roland and his people are observers.
Yes. But my cause is to survive and to observe. Therefore, her cause at this point, she swears it to me, is to keep me alive while I observe. So
Also keep in mind, he said to our cause, not to
Our
the
cause.
king's cause. So therefore
True.
he found a loophole.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very faith thing. He says, do you at this time swear yourself to our cause?
I do.
And take up the arm. That arm is an armsman of mine, as a priest of Feldane. And
you might chafe at that. Feldane is a pretty powerful demon of the night.
Mm-hmm. But by the look of this guy, it fits though. With the mask, the hood, the white skin, almost like a ghost. The fact he's wearing mostly black. The fact he's a trickster.
It's better than being torched to death. So yes.
By fish
Yes.
people, yeah.
Most things are better than being torched to death. So, but yes, we'll get you we'll get some food in you though, and a place to sleep for the night where you'll not be molested.
And a place for the elk as well.
Yes,
And for a place for him not to get molested either.
Yeah, well, yes.
Or eaten.
I do apologize. I may have put the seed of an idea into someone's mind earlier tonight, but at least you won't be eaten. So
he has sharp tines and hooves.
Okay. So with that, Roland's going to have busy himself finding a place for Iosa to sleep possibly a tent place for her elk to. I don't know if we're gonna have a stable per se, but maybe a place for him to
You
graze.
guys don't have horses there.
Yeah.
We don't have
Yeah.
proper horse domestication. Any horses that you do have are actually captured from the Atlanteans. So
Yeah,
you have maybe 12 of them. You got 12 horses and a bull elk.
Yeah, and the horses are probably wandering about through the camp because no one knows what to do with them.
Oh, actually, and you have 4 mammoths too. So you do have a
okay.
stable.
Okay, but yeah, we don't want the elk to be blessed by a mammoth. Although I'm sure people will pay for that. He leads basically her over where his area, his camp is, where his tent is set. Being a priest, would he have a decent sized pavilion, or would it just be like a little pitch tent? that he would have?
You priests all sleep together.
Okay, of course.
No, I'm not together, but you will bunk together.
Well,
unless, hey,
of course we do.
His priests might all sleep together. I'm just saying.
Okay, there is a
We usually
medium-sized pavilion with just a pile of pillows in the middle, where all of these priests have a cuddle puddle.
Yeah, that would actually fit Feldane's priesthood. Yes.
Yep.
So, but yeah, he takes you over to this area and he shows you this is where we sleep. If you don't feel comfortable sleeping here, I can find one for you outside. And one of the things you probably noticed is that how many priests do we have here? Like
including you, there's 10.
Yeah. Okay. So in that case, around the edge of this thing, there's probably 10 sets of ornate armor. Probably on stands, been kept, for official, ceremonial purposes.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't actually wear them. So I see
Just
this
look like really spooky ebon statues.
Yeah.
In the dark.
Exactly. I'm thinking that they're probably just sort of standing there almost like sentinel guardians around the edge. Look a little creepy. So
I can sleep under the sentinel. He looks safer than most people here.
Oh, I'll point at one. You can sleep under that one then.
Okay.
That one's mine. So
okay.
It's obvious when you get over there and look at it. It's a suit of armor. That material that you saw some of the other ones outside wearing. So, but he's not currently wearing it. So,
good enough.
If you want to clean yourself up, I'll get you some food. In fact, he steps out and says, "Bring me some food." So, and some water and some soaps and such for bathing.
Yeah, they'll probably have a mortal slave actually do that for you.
Okay. All right. So we'll bring in and we'll look at her and say, "Do you want a bath?"
What's a bath?
Yeah. Sure, but does that one need to be more intricately inked?
Do this one?
Yes.
She is not
Pointing
inked.
I'll look
Pointing
at
at the
her and
servants.
I'll say in Feywise, "Do you want to be?" And I'll say the word that she said in Trow. Because
She didn't speak Trow.
Okay.
He's a slave girl. And he doesn't have any ink.
do you mean as in when you say inked, what do you mean?
I'll pull up the sleeve of my shirt and show off some knotted tattoo work.
Oh. He looks at her and says, "Not tonight. But do let her clean you up and get your clothing cleaned and such. We'll get you something clean to sleep in tonight." So
Thank you, priest.
yeah. He sticks his head out the tent. At this point, he's not asked Ilmatar to leave. So Ilmatar is still there. If you want to be, he's invited you along with us.
Yeah, no, Ilmatar didn't go to your side of the encampment.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So basically, he's going to busy himself getting her cleaned up and fed. And if she doesn't let him stay in there while she's being bathed, he'll leave, but she'll have to ask him to. Okay, she'll ask him. Okay, fine. I'll be outside. She'll go outside. And he's going to basically spend some time hearing what others have, basically having people tell him what's the camp saying about her arrival. He wants to know what the gossip is right now.
The
That's what he'll do
gossip
right now.
is she's cute, and everyone wants to get her pregnant. But that's
course.
I mean that's the Shadow Fae
Okay.
mentality, and some
Um,
of the girls are like, yeah, I do her.
I will have some go out to the other camps and see what's being spread there. I want to know what the Dawn Fair folk are talking about in her regards, and what the Arborians are also saying in her regard. Because I want to know if are we going to have ourselves a bunch of torch bearing drunk warriors heading our way in the next little bit because there's a trow in our camp.
Well, the fair folk aren't really pleased that the Shadow Fae or the Umbriad are even here because
Right.
the whole Sealy on Sealy thing, and they're kind of keeping they're minding their P's and Q's while the Arborians are around, and being as there are more Arborians in this entire encampment than there are of both of you lot, they're keeping the peace.
Okay.
But there is a distaste of a trow woman, and quite a few of the fair folk are going, oh well, okay, they just have one exotic prostitute for the scouts to have their way with. All right.
Okay.
But that's kind of the feeling that's going around.
The whole
Right.
backhanded compliment thing is going around right now.
No, yeah, of course she's pretty. It's only because the girls want a piece of her. Yeah, that kind of thing. Some of the female Dawn Fairfolk are real catty about it too.
Okay. Yeah, I just basically he wanted to get an idea of the pulse of the camp and to see if there's if there's people are basically, if they're up in arms with the fact, oh, they have a trow over there, we have to get rid of that. I'm going to take me and my men over there, and we're going to deal with this right now, or something like that.
No, there's none of that. They're
Okay.
the alliance, the Fae alliance right now is kind of shaky for basically for that very reason. The Arborians are going, all right, we asked them to be here. If you don't like it, you can go back home and deal with the Atlanteans yourself when they burn your forest down. Or you could run with us and be pleasant. So they're just, well, shit.
Okay. In that case, I will have one of our people, I will actually sit down and write a letter in Feywise, thanking the king of the Arborians for his visit, and assuring him that the trow woman will not be a problem for any of his people, that she will not be beating any more of his scouts to a pulp, that will have her instead beating Atlanteans to a pulp. So
are you going to have this letter sent tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to have it delivered over to his, well, to me, this is like morning. So yeah, I'll have it delivered to his camp.
This is mid-morning for you? This is middle of the night for him?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're nocturnal. Okay, cool.
And if the sun is completely down, the hood is finally back.
He'll be fine.
You're right.
Yeah. So the sun is fully down, the hood is finally back. So
that won't take long. He actually will a reply will actually come back to you, and the king of Arboria gives you his permission to have your way with her, so long as it doesn't arouse the ire of your fellows. And as he mentions, there's something of a sharing going on, and do not tell any about don't tell the Dawn Fair folk. Don't tell them.
Okay.
Loose lips sink ships is kind of like the whole letter.
So okay, he'll he'll sort of
Fornication
smile
under
and nod
consent
to
of the
that.
king.
King. Yes, I was going to that. But no, but actually, the thing is that Relina is actually at this point thinking himself, this is a warrior. Yes, if there is that opportunity, of course, obviously, it's his priestly duty to do so. But
But
that is not currently his primary thing. He has the chance to learn about a culture that they know nothing about hardly.
mhm.
So
She's
it's
never
that whole
seen
thing of
your people, and you've certainly never
Yeah.
seen her. They don't
so,
have
yeah,
mortals, and you only know what a
Yeah.
goblin woman is, and no one would touch a goblin woman. No.
right. So in this situation, it's one of these ideas of he has two of his precepts: discovering other people's secrets, and of course going forth and multiplying. So, so,
Um,
so okay.
that being
So, yeah.
said, back in the the stage curtains will close there, and we will see ourselves in a stone circle that the fair folk have kind of captured. Uh, a grouping of megalithic stones that one such structure kind of makes a somewhat of a house, a hut, kind of like I actually can't pronounce the term. It's like a menhir or something like that, something that's that extent. But the fair folk um, are having their kind of their recovery rituals there, and a local hierophant comes to Ilmatar and with their next move. So you're brought into a this structure, this menhir that's kind of that's got mammoth hides and other pelts, kind of curtaining the windows, or what would be windows off for privacy purposes. And he, on a table nearby, explains that they've just gotten word that there is a sickness emanating from a nearby river delta at the end of the Gray Drain River that is near to the Atlantean mainland city. Um, but it's out of their way enough. Their scouts know that there are no Atlantean patrols there. They would like your group to look into this sickness, and possibly the corruption there could be discovered. And if the Atlanteans are actually using this area and what dread magics they're in, could possibly help this war effort. And he brings up the Shadow Fae almost begrudgingly. Yes, we don't want them here, but they have their uses.
Everyone has their uses.
Gives you a clay tablet that has a makeshift map of the river basin that you guys are currently in, with a kind of a squiggly line where the coastline would be, and he points to it kind of like with a half kind of like half a stylus that's actually been broken off. So this clay tablet's actually been it's currently drying, so he needs to be very gentle with it.
All right. Yeah, Ilmatar he'll kind of look at it, kind of, commit said path to memory.
Mm.
But he'll hold it in one hand because he knows it's dry, so he can't really put it away anywhere. But he'll look at the Hierophant and when do we leave?
As soon as possible, but if you need a night's rest or two, do so. This is pressing. We've had 2 scouts go to this mangrove area, and they haven't reported back yet.
Of course not. Of course not. All right. Let me rest, make a few poultices, and we'll probably leave with the light.
You are free to proceed however you wish there, Mike.
Yeah, if he doesn't have anything else to tell me after that, Ilmatar will give, he'll give a bow and a salute. He'll give whatever they do for a parting remark for both a warden of winter as well as a priest of the silent monolith.
Okay.
And I will ask, do we have anyone else going with us, or is it just me and my immediate companions?
The Hierophant would prefer, we would prefer that you travel, as few of you travel as possible. We don't want to arouse the suspicions of the enemy.
All right. So yeah, I'm going back to my camp. If you need me, send word. And with that, Ilmatar will leave from the area. If no one stops him or accosts him or anything else, he will literally go back to his area, get some rest, and just rest up for the morning so he can get ready to go. He needs to recoup his lost power over the night.
Right. An evening of short meditation and much needed rest finds Ilmatar.
One thing I will do, of course,
not
really of course, but one thing I will do before I crash out is actually have a scout go send word to Roland about what we are doing, and to see if he's going to be ready come morning to do that, or if he needs a day and wants to leave at a different time.
All right. Well, the stage curtains will close on that scene, and Roland in his tent. You're going to have a personal tent for your own rituals and your supplies and that sort of thing, but all of the priests of Feldane actually sleep together, communally, but everyone needs their privacy. A scout comes back. A Fairfolk scout actually stands at your tent's entrance. He does not come in. He waits there at the opening. Your tent flap is open.
Yeah, Relin actually is one of the things he's doing is all these stories he gathered earlier from these people about their loved ones who had died. He is actually taking the time to sit down and get some paper out and write these stories down. And he is muttering prayers in Shadow Feywise as he burns these one by one over a silver bowl. He's sending these prayers and asking Feldane to, if any who have died have lost their way, to send word to their ancestors of where they might be. Basically, it's almost sort of like their death ritual. They don't do a very public death ritual. It's much more private thing. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. Didn't realize it was up there. But yeah, it's a much more private type ritual that they do in this situation. So once he burns the last, when he turns around to this Fae, who he did notice was there, and he says, "Yes, you have a message for me."
A missive from Ilmatar.
Okay. He takes it and reads it. He gives me the option to leave it at first light or later in the day. Well, he'll flip it over and write, I would prefer leaving later in the day. Doing things during the day is not the best. Mid-afternoon at the earliest. and he'll take that and hand it back to him and say, "Here's my reply. Thank you very much, young man. Did you lose anyone today? Any close friends?
I did not, thankfully.
You count yourself blessed." So, this is
As I understand, we spilled much of the Atlantean blood.
we did, and burned much of their supplies. But I'll not keep you with my my tales of the day and whatnot. Go.
Another time, then. He gives you a very
yes.
smart, very curt bow, which is their salute, and
Okay.
he'll jog off into the night. With that, I believe Iosha is probably sleeping, right? Where you are of a race that is not nocturnal. This is going to be very interesting with this party. Because the Dawn Fairfolk, they have it's not light blindness, but they don't see as well in the dark. The Umbriads have perfect vision in the dark, as well as being 100% nocturnal, and you have mortal standard for vision, so it's gonna be really fun. So yes, she
And
is sleeping.
What's the worst that could happen? Yes, Iosha is sleeping.
Sleeping the sleep of the dead, because you are well, before I continue here, let me ask you this: does Iosha have issues with sleeping in unfamiliar places, or can she actually just go fall right asleep? Like prior military, I can fall asleep standing up.
Fall right asleep anywhere. It's a warrior thing.
Oh, okay. So you
as long as there's people around that can watch her back, just out like a light.
Well, depending on how comfortable or not this makes you, you have had some flattering things said to you, or some flattering looks thrown your way.
She's out like a light, but sleeping light.
Right. So yeah, no, I'm not saying they're going to come in on you when you're sleeping.
Oh no.
But you might be able to derive a level of safety because of how attractive your character is to these people. You might be something worth protecting to them, so that if that can work, the gears turning in the character's mind.
I trust they're not going to murder me and Elk.
No, well, then there you go. Simply put. And you drift off into the lands of Morpheus, the dreamscape. You sleep well and deep, though the flowering sashes and capes of Morpheus do paint a vivid yet a somewhat fitful night's sleep of your previous life in the village. As a warrior of your tribe, you probably spent much of your life hunting when your tribe was not at war, repairing and making tools and preparing the defenses of your village. If your character had a mate at some point, you may or may not have images of him or her, and possibly any children if applicable there. But of your previous life, these images kind of flit through your mind as a bittersweet kind of like pit in your stomach. But you awaken to the Black March cockerel off in the distance, and you wake up with a slight, ever so slight layer of frost on a wool blanket that had been thrown over you that was not there previously, woven of fey hair and sheep fleece. It's got a big, like, oak leaf on it, almost like the Canadian flag, but not white, but brown, that sort of thing. You wake up sore but well rested. Um, the scene opens to your mind. You see him. It seems like you're the first one up, or the first one like outside moving around. That Black March cockerel crows once again, and you half hear a rock being thrown at said bird, but they've clearly missed. So the bastard crows a third time. That's when you go, all right, fine, we'll get up. And it's this point, it's when an Arborian leaves a tent just across the main encampment, and you think it's a he, that figure sees you. What's his says and does nothing, and probably gives you a nodding acknowledgement, and then goes about his morning duties. The sky is quite dark to the south and to the west of you. Probably residual smoke from the previous day's battle. They've got it under control, but it's dissipating. There are no Atlantean banners on the horizon there that seem that these foreign people, these fish people, have withdrawn, at least from your place in this encampment. You may proceed however you wish.
Well, I'm going to be polite as I am being shown guest rights clearly. I am going to go gather some berries using my knowledge of the wilderness around me. And
Roll it.
I'm going. Yes.
Continue, but roll it.
That's 1d8 or 2d8.
Be 2d8 for you. 2d8, the spirit, and grades.
All right, 2d8 spirit and grades. 21.
Yeah, you can. How many grades of Wild Lore do you have?
I have 8 grades of wild lore, so half.
That's a plus
is,
bonus, a +4 bonus. Excuse me.
Yep. So I'm gonna go ahead and gather some berries, some edible mushrooms, maybe a bird egg or two,
You're going to find all of that with that roll. You just plain and simple.
and start making breakfast, as I
Uh,
would for my people when we were on campaign.
All right. I'm gonna say in your personal effects, you probably have a satchel, which was probably, again, like earlier, a grab bag of a mix of everything. I'd say you probably got a copper bowl in there, a wooden spoon, probably more of a spork kind of thing, and a bit of whatever food stuff that's actually wrapped up in a leaf of some kind. A length of twine, and you could probably start yourself a small fire near to where your sleeping mat was, and make yourself a little bit of something there. At this time, I'm going to say it's probably about an hour of you harvesting, and Roland, at this point, you. Hang on. When are the prayer times of Feldane? It's after nightfall.
Yes, after nightfall. That's what I was doing the night before with the prayers.
Oh, okay. I wanted to make sure. So, your morning meditations have likely ended at this point. Not prayers, meditating.
Yeah, meditations. Yeah. So he's probably looking for his bed at this point. They probably sleep mostly in the morning, I would think.
Oh yeah, you're starting to look for your bed.
Yeah. So he comes out with his hood up and he'll notice, I guess, her starting a fire, and he'll sit and watch for a moment, and he'll
Tanulia
go and
comes over and she drops a bit of what you assume to be venison, like on a plate nearby you. You've come to notice that Tanulia is the only other Umbriad of this company, or the recon formation, that actually speaks the Trow language well enough to actually hold a conversation. And she gives you the what would be the Trow good morning.
Morning. Would you like some food as well?
I'll have whatever you can offer. But normally, as a guest, you should have whatever we can offer you.
I appreciate that. I'd like to help out as well. I'm going to mix the venison she gave me into the eggs, the berries, and the mushrooms and give her half.
She'll sit down. I mean, if you let her sit down on the blanket with you, I'm assuming you have the blanket out on the ground, like picnic
Yes.
style. She'll sit down in the corner and she'll have breakfast with you. She's done with her patrol that morning.
It is an absolutely wonderful morning. Nice light frost. It's going to be a beautiful day.
Autumn normally doesn't last this long, but it is pleasant. She kind of gives you a Umbriads are kind of weird. Their facial expressions and their mannerisms are still obviously going to be quite alien to you, but she's trying what you assume would be her damnedest to be pleasant, but she's still kind of like navigating that cultural membrane with you. She quickly changes the topic to, well, the Atlanteans have withdrawn to the rear.
Oh, so no fighting today?
Likely not,
Oh,
unless the Arborians chase them down.
well, that's mildly disappointing. I wonder what I'm supposed to do today then. Only so many berries I can gather.
Oh, you're going to be traveling with Roland, huh? Is that true?
Yes.
I'd be careful of him. He has many wives where we come from.
Ah, you see, we only take one mate, and mine was at home. So.
Oh. Was he burnt? A complete deadpan. Was he burned in your village as well?
Yes.
Or she burned in your village as well?
Yes. Yes, he was.
Oh. Well, my apologies. The Arborians you're probably familiar with. They favor more gruesome deaths, so it was probably a good one. She's trying to be pleasant.
I appreciate the sentiment. I've sworn my services to Roland.
Well, I'm sure you'll be quite safe with him. She'll stand. She'll give you a very curt bow, and she goes, "Thank you for breakfast."
Not a problem. Happy to help.
And she'll be off with her business there. That morning, back on the other side of the encampment with the fair folk, with the Black March cockerel, Ilmatar is awakened from a deep, almost opium-like sleep from the lands of Morpheus. Those capes and sashes flowering and both starred rejuvenated you, but the trickster god saw fit to give you a vision of a tree, a sick, angry, black, knotted tree It may or may not be an omen, but as we all know, Morvius is almost as much of a bastard as Feldane when it comes to his visions. So take these things for what they are.
Ilmatar he'd wake and you see that look. Well, if anyone was looking at him, which he doubts at the moment, but he
You're
has that
probably
look.
still.
Huh?
I said you're probably in your tent still.
Yeah, yeah. But he would just, as like the cameras would like pan to him and the lights would shine on him, he had that look of that guy saying, like when you wake up from a dream and you're trying to remember all the pieces and you're trying to see if it's supposed to make sense or not. So he's kind of like legs swung over to one side. He's got his hand running through his hair and his face. And the hell was that? And then for the next like half hour, he's probably just going to sit there and just like muse over it.
A mix of thoughts. What kind of tree was that shit?
Yeah. Like, what
Because it
kind of
wasn't a
tree
good
was that?
sight. No,
Why was it knotted? Why was it black?
trees aren't black.
Like, did I recognize that scenery around it?
You did not. I actually, Wildlore. I'm actually gonna let you roll for it here.
Well, it was also partially one of those just questions out loud thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, give me a second here. God, I love double explosions.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Do you really want to hear this number?
Yeah, I want to hear it. Is it over 50? The highest score since we started this system was 50.
No, it's not over 50.
Okay.
It's 40.
40 still, as it is a godlike success. You do in fact recognize that scenery. It certainly does come from that swamp that you were told about, that mangrove swamp that you were assigned to go. But there is something horrible and awful in there, and if you should wish it, you should have yourself a danger sense.
Okay. Danger sense.
Do you have grades in danger sense?
I do.
Oh, you do. Ooh.
That's going to be a 20.
For whatever reason, the god of the dreamscape did see fit to arm you with the knowledge that there is, in fact, something in that flooded woodland that is, in fact, waiting for you. Take it however you wish. If you feel that you are fated to be there and encounter this nightmarish thing, then so be it. But
I'm getting
was
really
just
bad Fern Gully vibes right now. I'm just saying.
Well, you know,
Where's Tim Curry when you need him?
right? But no, that these images do prove true in your instinct.
Okay.
Your instincts.
So, yeah, with all that, Ilmatar, he's still going to be kind of like half dazed as he gets up and gets going around, because he did kind of get in the middle of a sleep cycle when he woke up from all this anyway. But what I have gotten Roland's note back before going to bed? Or would it be kind of waiting there for me on my desk?
We'll say that particular scout left it on your desk, so you'll get it in the morning.
Okay. So yeah, I'd see that sitting there.
You do not.
Huh? You went mute.
I said you do not interrupt a magician's sleep. It's very superstitious if you do.
Right. So yeah, I'd open that up, see that it's a reply on the back of my letter, and that he wants to leave in the afternoon. Is it still early morning, or is enough time passed, or what are we looking at time-wise?
Well, the cockerel crowed for the third time. It's probably just before dawn.
All right.
Or it is now dawn after you've had
So
your
half hour. Yeah. So yeah, I will, well, wake up, wash my face, change into fresh clothes, yada yada. I will actually go find my 4
your
priests that
personal
are under
staff.
me. My
Okay, your
personal
acolytes.
staff. Yep. Tell them that I am going to be gone for the next couple of days. Listen to the Hierophant. Don't do anything stupid. Continue making poultices for those that need them. I will take a set of poultices if they have any made at the moment, probably just 1 from each.
We'll say 2 from each currently. So you'll have
Okay.
8 total.
All right. And I think I still had 2 from the battle yesterday, so
Okay.
puts me up to like 10 altogether.
The 8 that you will be getting will expire in a chain.
Yep. So 10 days from now. So hopefully we'll be back before then.
We hope.
With that, since I know Roland is crashed out at the moment, and have I heard anything about Iosa?
She's still hanging out with the Umbriads.
All right. Well, I'm not going to go bug the Umbriads because most of them are going to be crashed out right now. So Ilmatar will go find something to eat for breakfast.
Someone's killed a deer earlier that morning, so you wake up to the smell of venison.
Oh, there we go. That'll work. Me being a warden and a mystic, do I have any dietary restrictions? I don't think that was ever actually established or not. I'm assuming the whole, don't kill more than you need type of thing. I just didn't know if I actually had any restrictions.
Nah, you're an omnivore. Unless
Okay.
your personal sect, which might be you and your 4 acolytes, since you are 4th level, it may or may not be vegetarians. It's up to you. Well,
Yeah,
Hierophant, what do you want to do?
Nah, we'll be omnivores.
Okay.
I can't live without my grain and my protein. It's just the way I am.
And alcohol consumption is accepted, but only on high holidays. And drunkenness is a taboo.
That's a silent monolith thing, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Okay. You have to send me a list of, are the high holidays in the book already?
Yes, it's
Okay.
under the calendar in further afield.
Okay.
At the bottom of the document.
Okay. So yeah, I will go down and get myself a breakfast of venison and whatever else is around at the moment. If anyone needs priestly duties done, blessings, rites, yada yada, Ilmatar tends to just kind of give them as they're asked.
All right.
He's not one to really judge or ask questions either. It's like, oh, you need something done? Okay. There you go.
Fantastic. that being said, we can probably fast forward time to a good midday when Roland may or may not be rousing at this time. It's too
Yeah, he'll
god damn early in the morning.
Yeah, he does know he has a task to do this evening, and usually he would sleep well late into the afternoon, only rising as the sun touches the horizon. But today he drags himself out of the pile of his fellow priests and um, walks over to the edge of the tent and splashes a bit of water from a bowl onto his face, slicks his hair back just a bit. It's probably almost pitch black in this tent. They probably have like felt, I'm thinking, along the edges.
Oh
Just a
yeah,
bit
no,
of
it's
light.
it's
Yeah.
completely dark in there.
Yeah, so just a bit of maybe a bit of light peeking under the bottom of the flap at the front. But
That stabs your retinas.
yes,
Oh,
he'll make sure, clean himself, make sure he's properly dressed and attired, and his cloak and his mask is on him. He will mutter a prayer of apology to his God for being up at this time and offending his God's sensibilities by waking him at such an awful
make me a
era.
sight test.
Okay. Okay.
Or actually, no. I believe this would be meditation.
Okay. All right. That's going to be a 14.
You have meditation, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, every priest should have that. 14.
14. One of the few times in your long life, Roland gets a reply, almost a psychic reply of, "What did you wake me for?" And you are smacked by
Okay.
something in the dark.
Okay. I'll go to one knee, bow my head, and say, "Great Lord, I apologize, but the need is great. There is a sickness to the south that needs to be tended to. And as we have been brought to learn of these places and their ways, this will give me the opportunity to travel with one of the Dawn Fair folk and one of these Trow, from whom I wish to learn as much as possible and bring back to you their secrets. And they wish to travel during the day."
Heathens
Yes.
is the only reply.
He agree, and he very much agrees. I did get him to wait until the afternoon at least. But
This is all a telepathic conversation from somewhere
Yes.
off in the dark.
he's basically talking to the darkness. So okay. Okay.
You will find that Feldane is actually one of the most talkative of the deities in Arklanar.
Okay. So he once again apologizes, and that was good timing. So apparently at least from outside, it sounds like priests of Lecker are busy.
Yes, they're having to go.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, so he will, as I said, throw on everything he can, pull his hood as tight over his head as he can. He probably actually, underneath his mask for now, will wear something similar to what the Atayans wear, a thin cloth over his eyes, because he's going to go out during the day. So he'll have that tied under his mask, almost like a set of to protect from the bright light. And he will slide out between he probably have the flaps up so they overlap, so that when someone has to go out or comes back in, they will
You've got
he can
kind of
slide
an
across.
airlock of darkness
a
in
light
there.
lock.
Yeah, light lock. Thank you. But
Yes.
You actually step out into that. Had you actually not put that blindfold, that extra layer of protection over your eyes, you would have taken vitality damage, as your
Oh yes.
corneas would be seared like tuna steaks.
Right.
There,
Yes.
it is a beautiful day to us
Yeah.
mortals here on Earth. It is gorgeous out, but to you subterranean devils, it is a
Yeah.
horrible day.
Yeah. So he'll they probably have mortal slaves here specifically to help guide them about in this blinding time.
Oh
So
yeah,
I'm going
there.
to
That's
look.
the
I'm going to
previous
look.
slave girl from the day before. Actually, she'll stand up
Yes.
and she'll actually take your hand.
Yeah. I'll say, take me to the trowel.
She takes you about 15 paces.
Okay. He says, Iosa, have you found yourself today? Have you been,
Quite well, a little bored. Your camp is rather empty.
well, we come awake at night. Our eyes, this dreadful brightness stabs at our eyes.
He blasphemes. You are a sun worshiper.
Anyway, um,
Yes, the day has been quite beautiful, though.
as you will, you found food that you've not been denied anything.
Oh no, I had a great conversation with one of your scouts. We ate breakfast together.
Tanulia, probably. I think she's the one who can speak your language among us, other than
Yes,
me. So she was taught at the same time that I was. So we were told your people might be interesting allies here. Um,
Or
we have a
combatants.
we have a task. Ilmatar sent me a message last night. We're to leave this afternoon on some quest to investigate a sickness. So let's get you properly attired. What gear do you require?
I have armor. I have a spear.
What
I
other
am
gear?
I'm
What other gears
proficient
do you
in
use?
bow, but I also know how to use a shield.
Well, we'll need to collect you a shield and a bow. Then I don't want you going half armed as it were. And we'll need to gather some travel rations and such together as well.
Understood.
So
I will go collect not for eating.
okay, I'll go collect for eating. Oh, did we just lose one?
Mike.
Oh, he's back. He's back. Okay. Um, the so yeah, he'll busy himself for the next hour or so, gathering travel rations, getting the different mortals to gather things for him. Can we by chance use it? Is there a cart here we can get like
Um,
a because we don't ride, so but I don't know. Do we use beasts of burden to pull cart?
not your people.
Okay,
Um,
so
yeah, you
so
guys
we'll
just
probably just
walk.
get we'll
Um,
probably just get a couple of packs put together then,
mhm.
and a couple of a chain or so of food, spare clothing. I'll gather some poultices. Yeah, the priests we have. We probably keep a stock. We probably rotate keeping a stock fresh for that. Um, and we'll take. I'll take five poultices. I don't want to take so much away from them that it actually puts them in a pinch. Um, and sort of gather my personal gear up. My sword. I'll probably won't take my ritual armor, my big armor, but I'll grab my travel armor, which is my I guess it was my ebon coat. I think before we were calling it mail, but we're calling it something different now. Um, and I guess it'd be a coat of rings, right?
It's coat of
Ring coat,
plates.
coat of plates. Okay. He'll get that put together, and um, she has armor now. She has. Do your kind wear mail or wear helms
We
at all?
prefer leather due to our elk not being able to hold much weight.
Okay. In that case, he'll see if he can gather up a leather helm or hat cap for you. Let's make sure that you're properly armored. He knows you can take a blow, but still,
I appreciate this, but I do not have much money to pay you with.
of course, you're going to pay me in service. One who has someone in service should make sure that they're properly equipped for said service. Otherwise, it's dishonorable for them. So I'm sure you can
Understood.
come with different ways of paying me for these different things, these kindnesses, if you will. So at this point, he's not being like the night before when it was dark. He was very flirtatious and sort of almost jaunty. With the light out, he seems to be almost more businesslike. So I guess about an hour after, once we get that done, I guess we'll do a crazy thing. We're going to head and go find Ilmatar in his camp. We are going to go find Ilmatar in his camp.
Understood.
So here comes a Unseelie and a Trow into the Don Fairfolk's camp.
Armored, one of them riding an elk, armored and carrying a weapon.
Goodbye. Roll up characters. No, actually, you guys actually meet Ilmatar at the edge of the encampment. You guys are actually in the same area. You're not segregated or anything like that, but Ilmatar will be ready for travel then by that early afternoon. He's had plenty of time to get himself ready. You do, however, get sneers from some of the other fair folk there, but the acolytes that kind of follow Ilmatar around, kind of like lost puppies, are they're more or less inclined to his more open-minded view of the world.
I try my best. What can I say?
Right.
Yeah, no. After eating, yeah, Ilmatar would just start getting ready for the day.
It's been hours at this point, so you're already ready to go.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. Picking up extra rations, making sure we had water skins, double checking the tablet for how long the route's going to take, yada, 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 yada.
It should take you about 5 days to the coast. If you follow the river, of course.
What's possibly going to go wrong?
Right, of course. You follow the river. Yeah, no. You could either take the river route down, which will be 5 days. There's kind of like a couple places in there where it could possibly be rough, and you'd need to ford it at some points, or because obviously elevation goes down to the sea, or you could go overland, which takes you a little bit, maybe a little uncomfortably close to the enemy. But it's flat most of that way, all the way down. So whoever actually decides to, well, I should leave that up to you. The three of you can decide your approach.
Yeah, which when I find Roland and Iosha, I will show them the tablet with the route so we can start getting that situated.
Okay. Well, I'll do a traveling check. I want to look at the map real quick. That's 8. So with my traveling, where am I traveling? Traveling. 4. It's an 18 on traveling. With this map, could I find my way across land, or would I be more likely to get lost?
It's a pretty simple map.
Yeah. So,
you feel that you probably wouldn't get lost, but I mean, with how simple your tools are,
yeah. So
it does give you 2 routes, which one could be rockier, one could be more smooth. It really depends on how you guys wish. There's really not much in a way of shaving time off
Okay.
with either
Well,
two.
I'll tell to the two of you my thoughts is if we take the overland route, it may give us a chance to gather intel about the Atlanteans along the way. We'll be getting closer to them. If we follow the river, of course, it will give us more intel on the local contours of the river and if they're doing anything along that. But I mean, either way, there are advantages to either. What is your Iosa, your elk? What is it more comfortable with, overland or more rocky terrain?
He does better in the trees.
Okay. So do we know if there are forests between along the river, or is there more?
Now that really doesn't answer the question.
Yeah. Well, maybe there was a loss in translation. Do you think he would be more comfortable following the river, or going straight across the plains areas?
Which way is there less fire?
Probably near the river, I would think.
Well, the fire has been out for hours by now, so
Yeah.
Oh, all
both.
right. In that case, whatever way there's more fighting.
Well, we hope to not do much fighting. It's just will be just the three of us. But if we have to, obviously we need to make it swift and decisive. But I would think more fighting might be either. Actually, we don't know where the disposition of the enemy currently is.
So we're
So-
still not asking the right questions here.
Yeah. So, but I say myself, my vote is to go along the more straightforward path along the plains, because I think we can get there a little bit quicker, possibly, maybe, and we might be able to learn more about the enemy. So, what do you two say?
I honestly think the quicker the better.
I agree.
Well, then it sounds as if the straighter path is the way we will go. Then,
So we take the river. All right.
yeah, whatever the straighter path is. Yeah.
You, with the map, you find the river within the that next half hour's worth of traveling. You leave the camp, basically go down the hill, find a deer path, and you find your way to the Grey Drain River. Take 5 days off of your traveling provisions there, and you find yourself at the rocky yet swampy edge of this mangrove. And as you've approached, what I need from you guys is a corruption defense test, which is a life force test. Is your level 2d8 plus your level plus your sight, not your sight, your spirit modifier. What does Snake Eyes do? Well, Snake Eyes is a terrible, awful thing when it comes to corruption defense tests. Once, Mike, what did you get?
It's exploded 4 times already.
Oh, well, then never mind. Just stop. I'm just not going to ask you anymore. We're going to ignore you. There is a lingering shadow sickness in this area, which the difficulty for that is 12.
It's only a 45. I don't
It's
know what this is
only a 45, he says, ladies and gentlemen. Mike, shut the hell up. It's only a 45.
This one really likes me today. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you totally suck, and then some. Now then, Roland, you feel a coldness you've found places in your long life that were kind of haunted by bad feelings and uneasiness here, negative entities and negative spirits. You're able to steel yourself and push these things away with the light of the Fae in you. Ilmatar, we won't actually describe his reaction to the corruption, simply because he is a pyre of the ceiling, and his influence shoves back the darkness. Unfortunately for our Trow mercenary Iosha, you've not left your village much, maybe if at all, and we'll say, oh, you know what? For the sake of cinematics, this is likely your first encounter with the dark, and it spooks your elk. And what I'm going to need is a horseman ship test from you, because he is going to try and buck you off. He is absolutely going to try to get you out of, well, you don't have a saddle. You're just riding bareback. Do it. Come on, Lynx. Do it. What did you roll? Come on. You rolled a couple ones too. Oh, so what ends up happening? So you crit failed yet again.
Choose new dice.
Yeah, right. Yes. Do you remember the oh shit dice that I mentioned before the session? How about you switch over? So what ends up happening is in this initial, him asking you very politely to get off of him, you are like, oh, we'll be perfectly fine. It's a little spooky, but he drops and then rolls and crushes you underneath him, and he is on the other end of the county by now. With a crit fail on your life force test, obviously it dawned on you previously that this is not a good situation to be in, and you take 4 points of shadow sickness here for temporary shadow sickness. You put that on your character sheet. We will go over how to get rid of those later in at the end of the night here, but your elk, I would very much like to go out on a limb and say your companion for many cycles has abandoned you, and
No.
and he fucking leaves. That is a horrible fucking roll. I'm sorry.
How much damage from having a heavy elk roll on you?
Well, it's a D8. Oh, for fuck shit's sake. Amazingly, he's quite light, and you take 2 vitality damage. So, I mean, you're gonna pass that regardless, because your armor suppresses at least one of it. You just get him squishing you for a little bit, and he fucks right off. Well, it makes sense though. He's not a domesticated animal, and something this harrowing certainly would spook wild animals. If you would like to have yourself a brief soliloquy here as you narrate possibly how superstitious your character is, and what's probably going through her heart and mind as your friend leaves you with these 2 foreigners.
As Iosa picks herself up out of this muddy swamp, her back, just covered in the scoop. She feels fear. Not for the first time since leaving the house, but a deeper fear than she felt before. She thought she was safe getting to this camp. There were a few hairy spots, but she thought she'd be safe. She thought she and Not for Eating would be fine. They had gotten through the worst of it. They had gotten through their village burning down. And she's watching him take off. This she had raised him from a tiny little elkling. They had gone on campaigns. Well, in her mind, campaigns. In all reality, they had gone hunting together, fought off rival tribes. And he's just booking it. He's not looking back. And she's not sure what to do now. She had practiced lancing from his back. She's got a spear and she's got a shield, and now she's going to have to walk. She's going to have to try to do things on her own without this companion she's known for many years, with people that can't speak her language. And looking towards her companions, she turns to them, and she's internally wishing that she was back home at this point. But she looks at them and says, "What next?" With what she thinks is a smile, but is really a grimace.
So Roland watches this elk trot away back to the direction we had come. He says, well, in some ways, he looks around the area we felt this darkness coming from. He may be the smartest of all of us. Well,
I guess he's
after
free eating
spear
now.
and- Well, I'm sure he'll find somewhere nearby to graze, and if we head back, maybe we'll find his path.
Maybe, but that's not our priority.
Not at the moment. He looks over to Ilmatar and says, "This is your quest, my friend. What do we do next?"
First of all, he'll look to Iosa and the retreating Not for Eating, and he'll kind of just mutter underneath his breath and Feywild, "God damn it! Known this person for less than 2 days, and God damn it!" And I'll look at Iosa again and said, "My apologies. Hopefully, as Roland said, he'll find some place to graze, be safe, and we'll get him on the way back."
I appreciate your kind words, priest.
But we do need to carry on to this spot and try to get to the basis of all this going on, because as we all probably just felt, this is not natural right now. And recalling the tablet and the map, how close are we to our destination?
You are on the edge of the mangrove that's actually on the map on the coast here. So you're not here, you're here.
Do I see that black tree?
Nope. You don't see the black. However, awareness tests. Everybody awareness tests. This is a you guys are kind of on the edge of kind of a natural, unnatural nightmare scape here. The trees are bent and knotted, and clearly something here is very, very sick. I'm going to give you guys a +1 bonus for your awareness there. You will have be kind of on your toes at this point.
26.
26. Lynx, what do we got?
41,
41 or 21?
40.
4, 1. Okay.
Ooh.
Nice. We gotta rely on those exploding dice. Yeah.
So of course, now you get that.
Right? And
Right?
you couldn't have just had that like 10 minutes ago, please. But anyway, there are shapes flitting from tree to tree out in this mangrove, not in the branches, but amongst the trees. And there seems to be something like leaning out from behind a tree, a figure, and as soon as you like see it, it hides again.
Are those things normal?
With your crit fail earlier, you know that they are not instinctually.
All right. In that case, so there's things hiding behind the trees. What is our plan of action?
Maybe before we dive into this with those things there, he looks over at Ilmatar and says, maybe we should pull back just a bit. And after the sun sets, I can ward us a bit for this. You may be able to do so yourself before that. Possibly cast a ritual of warding upon us to at least give us a bit of protection from those things. Can you? I know I can once it's dark, but at the moment with that thing in the sky, I'm effectively powerless.
That thing in the sky. Narrator, do I know anything about what these things could be?
It could simply be shadows. They could be ghosts, simply angry spirits.
But nothing that occult insight or anything would help me out on.
Occult insight or esoteric knowledge would actually be the skill that you would try to use to decide divine what these things are. Yeah.
What did esoteric knowledge replace? I know it was
Occult
the word
insight.
for some. Okay, so occult insight, and that's
Yep.
the same thing. Okay. I remember we talked about that the other night. I just didn't remember. $32.
32. They look like wraiths of some kind, like a shade, in almost in the Greek mythology sense.
The one sitting outside the gates of Hades that just wandered the fields all day.
Kinda, yeah.
Those ones.
However, those won't attack and kill you. That's not what they're there for.
Right.
That does not equate to what these things are.
Right.
These look very similar.
Right. How much? So you said this is a mangrove.
Mhm.
How close are we to the water, and how far out does it go?
If you find a patch of sunlight out there, you could see almost to the coast. You're gonna see the tide coming in.
Okay. I'll look back at Roland and, well, I mean, I can hope that the silent monolith will answer and give us some wording, but we all know how the deities can be fickle at times. But this is also corruption of earth and water, so I would assume he would want to help out at least a little bit.
And being the fact that my deity is concerned with darkness, I guess I could possibly ward us at least through the night. But I would have to have somewhere clean to be able to do the ritual first. So this close to that, I'm not sure how well it would work.
Yeah,
So
that's probably for both of us. So we probably need to take a step back anyway, huh?
I would say so, yes.
Make me an awareness test again. Well, actually, who has the higher cunning modifier between our Fae?
My cunning modifier is a 3.
I have a 2.
Okay. Oh, Roland, I need you to make an awareness test. You're listening for something here.
All right. That's going to be a 15.
Okay. There is a low, mournful tone. I say mournful. I should say more haunting tone that sounds similar to wind moving through branches,
Okay.
coming to your unseelie ears.
Okay. He tilts his head a bit and listens a little bit closer. I'm going to do an esoteric knowledge to see if I know anything about that specifically.
Oh, I would hope so.
So it's a 17.
A 17.
Mhm.
When this tone kind of rings out over this mangrove, you notice that these shades kind of like they pause, like, oh, shit, so they got caught, and then they just vanish, almost like the way apparitions would. And you see off in this mangrove a Leshen.
Oh, wonderful. I think we may need to back up just a bit and do a bit of ritual to prepare ourselves for my point that.
It's seen you.
Yeah, at this point, we may not have a choice. But
As
to
far as
deal
you are
with it
concerned,
directly-
he's just standing there watching you.
Okay.
It doesn't have an expression, but you're certainly getting this
yes.
kind of fuck around and find out. I dare you to come into my forest. I dare you.
He sort of smiles, and it's odd to see the smile because this is something he's not seen before.
Oh no, you've seen a
He's-
Leshen before.
Oh, okay. Okay,
There
so
are
but-
Leshen in the Ebon Vale.
Okay, but it's to see one here, so far away. It's an opportunity to learn something. And at first, his first thought is to approach it and speak with it, but at the same time, it's like, I've not heard good things about doing that. I've heard bad things about trying to speak with Leshen. And he does say, and he's actually talking himself in Shadow Fae wise, that maybe I shouldn't approach that thing. Maybe I should. And then he takes a deep breath and he says, "My friends, I think we have found that which protects this place."
Is that black and knotted, by the way?
It also looks very sick. Yes.
So what's the plan here? Do we need to go stab it a lot?
No. The protocol for Trow and Leshen relationships is run for the hills. It will eat me and my children and my ancestors.
Understood.
If we had not
Those
for
things
eating,
are
he would be
worshipped
for
like
eating.
gods.
Oh, much appreciated. In that case, Ayosha's just going to kind of start backing up.
So, Ilmatar, is this what you have come to heal?
Remind me if I ever see him to slap Morpheus.
I can pass the message on.
I knew there was going to be a twisted message in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So
And just cause, this will be a throwback to. Oh, never mind me.
I swear, you bring up the children again, I'm going to smack you.
Oh, get out of my head. Come on now.
What do Leshens and either the seasonal wardens or silent monolith priest have any sort of relation or history?
With the Leshens?
Yes.
Oh Jesus. They are.
Don't you all that, Iosha.
I
I swear to the silent monolith, do not all that.
Here, let me actually get this on screen better for you.
It's so cute though.
Backhand a lot of you, I swear.
Well, you know what? He actually this is the picture we're actually looking at, but the Leshen babies. Fuck, I'll just get him off of there. There.
They look so huggable.
Yeah, I dare. Go in there. Go in there.
Yeah. You tell that to Fern. I'm just saying.
This particular Leshen has a brood of 4 Leshen children that are like standing behind it with those creepy as fuck faces. Which, again, at your heartstrings, they also look very sick.
Okay, so once again, silent monolith and Leshen protocol / relations, or seasonal wardens and Leshens protocols and relations.
Well, a Leshen is the spirit of the forest. The spirit of the wild. In a lot of mythology, or say in a lot of cultures, they are considered negative energies, but they're supposed to be there. They're not nice. They're actually really mean, and extremely territorial. We actually don't know if they are Fae or not, or if it's just a naturally occurring monster in the world.
Elemental, so to speak.
Yeah, like it could possibly be an elemental earth or an elemental water entity, a mix of the two. But again, this is only speculation. In prehistory, it's just, oh no, it's a fucking demon, terrible, it's gonna eat us or feed us to it, those horrible little babies. But as a priest, you would see the corruption in this family, and you'd know that corruption doesn't just naturally occur in the Leshen, or the Leshen doesn't spread it. So seeing
Ferngully, fuck off.
Hey man, great movie, Ferngully, but no, it might pull at your heartstrings that this parent and the babies are very sick. But I'm gonna get rid of them because they're creepy as fuck.
Right. They don't speak a language, correct?
Not in a tongue that you know.
It's all just guttural and gibberish, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to look at my 2 companions. Yeah, this is more than likely what we need to fix.
So
I do not think
how
I am
do
equipped
we
to fix this.
fix that? Well, you would have been sitting here by your god if you weren't.
These are deities. How do you fix a
Well,
deity?
you find out what's causing it problems, and you put your spear in that.
I ain't put my spear in that.
Well, not that. The thing that's causing the problem. Okay, you see how, and at this point, Roland gets very, like, almost like he's trying to
Very
teach someone
technical.
something. He says, "You see how it stands there. Obviously, the the antlers and the skull face and such. That's how it should look. But you see the black veins, the darkness, the way that it's the stains under its eyes that look to be tracks of tears that looked as if maybe they were ink at some point, things like that. Those are signs of the shadow of the, not the darkness. There is a difference between the shadow and the darkness. This is, the shadow is more of a thing from beyond. The darkness is just, well, what you can't see. This thing has been touched by something unclean.
Well, you're apothecaries. So you said, can't you just feed it some herbs?
Well, maybe,
They're still
but
staring.
there needs to be, at this point, yeah, Roland, he hasn't approached any further, but he is keeping a sort of a side eye on them as he's talking about this. He says, I think this will require more than just a bit of herbs.
How
We
about
need to find-
burn out the sickness like you do with an infection?
Well, yes, but then you burn them out. I don't think they would let you. But that's not a bad idea. We need to find out what is causing the sickness and burn it out. You don't kill you don't set someone on fire when you're healing a wound.
Keeps them warm for a day and the rest of their
Well, it
life.
keeps them for the rest of life, but still, but you don't, that's not how you heal something. So we need to find out where this wound is in this area and find out what you do to heal it.
All right,
Is that,
you guys
does
are
that
in
sound right,
charge.
Ilmatar? Is that what you've been sent to do, I think?
Hold on a second, I was typing something out.
Okay. So.
I didn't know how long you two were going to talk for, so I was actually typing something out to our
Well, yeah.
narrator
I've been
for what
doing
I
it
was
a
going to
long
do.
Okay.
So unless you just want me to say it out loud there, narrator.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, hold on a second. Doggo's trying to say goodnight real quick. But anyway, what Ilmatar was trying to do, do not take my headphones with you.
Goddamn
Ilmatar.
dog.
Right? She's adorable, but she's a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
So what Ilmatar was doing is he actually had, how far away was the uncorrupted ground? Because I know we kind of hit this and didn't go too far in when we had the corruption kind of wash over us. You're muted.
You could walk back about probably a good 30, 40 paces and feel comfortable with harvesting some earth back there.
Okay. So yeah, Ilmatar would do that. The whole time he's looking at the Leshen. I mean, he's not really taking his eyes off this damn thing.
I mean, how can you not?
Right. But he's going to be walking backwards as he is essentially saying a prayer to the Silent Monolith, asking for both guidance and direction on either what is causing the earth and this creature pain, or basically trying to guide him to his next step to fix said ailment of the earth. As he does this and as he hits that kind of uncorrupted, safe feeling again, he'll actually kneel down and take out a scoop of earth. And then he will reach into his pouch that he has on him at all times and kind of grab a couple of seeds and plant them so that hopefully fresh growth can happen here and, help solidify the purity of the place.
Awesome. Go ahead and shed a spell point for that as you do that. Where do you actually plant it? Do you actually walk back into the corrupted area and do it there, or?
Actually, he will actually when he first gets back to the uncorrupted part, he will actually take out a scoopful and he will plant some there. Like he will plant one there and cover it up after he puts water on there. And he will actually take a second scoop and he will actually walk back into the corrupted area and then actually plant a second seed there.
Okay. Perfect. As you complete this ritual, we'll start to close the session here. With that closing scene in mind, you guys are kind of on the edge of how very apropos, on the edge of shadow. With this influence kind of almost trying to repel you, but you are 3 beacons of light trying to push this darkness back. In these moments of some tension rising, and these nightmarish creatures just watching you with, you can't tell what expression that is, but a closing soliloquy from Roland Till in these moments here, as the stage lights come up to illuminate him.
So as Roland looks on into this this shadowed sort of coastal swamp, and he sees this horribly sickened leshen and its offspring, and he watches Ilmatar very closely as he does his ritual, sort of taking mental notes on how it's done, how the priests, the silent monolith, differ from what he does, of course. His mind goes back to to one of the main tenets of his religion, which of course is to learn things, which is what he is doing at this moment, obviously. And he sees this lesson, and he knows he's going to have to do something to help it, if for nothing else, to learn about it, but also because it obviously is, it has procreated and its offspring are dying, and that children are precious. Even ones that are odd, even the ones that are considered creepy, they're still precious. And to see this horror before him there, it does horrify him deep down in his Umbriad core. His instinct is to run to them and try to tend to them as he would any child who is ill. But obviously this parent is not going to understand him doing that. He looks over at Iosa and sees her, obviously this darkness already creeping into her, possibly. Ilmatar, of course, seems to be a monolith of purity, but he felt himself that darkness wash over him, though he was able to fight it off. And he is actually a bit concerned about Iosa at the moment. Concerned for himself as well. But his biggest concern right now is for those children. So he's hoping that whatever Ilmatar is doing is going to lead them to the source of this, and he is going to, I believe, with every part of his being, try to fix this. So he feels determined.
Beautifully said. With the cold, clammy, and dark hands of the corruption now grasping at Iosha's heart here, what do we see of her heart and mind as the stage lights come up to illuminate her white-knuckled grip on that spear?
You see fear, a true primal fear. During her time in the village, she had been taught that these things were deities, things to be feared and respected and avoided. But now the people that she had sworn herself to are telling her that she's going to have to help it, not just avoid it. So she is fighting between duty and personal honor and teachings. Which one is right? And she knows which one she's going to listen to. Her personal honor means the most. That is the code of a warrior. But at the same time, there's a part of her mind that's just screaming at her to run, to not look back, that Not for Eating was the smartest person here. That maybe she should have just ran with him.
Beautifully said, and actually quite logical. Actually, very very logical. Now we go to our monolith of purity, the the voice of one of the deities of light, Ilmatar. What do we see of him now?
So, Ilmatar, even though he wasn't affected by the corruption creeping in, he did still feel it. I mean, they all felt it. But part of him, just from a self-preservation point of view, will always have that I don't want to be here feeling. I want to go back and light my pipe and eat some more venison, and that's the way it is. But one, he was given a job, and two, he sees that something that he doesn't always see eye to eye with is in need of his help, or at least his deity's help. So when he did the ritual and he's kind of waiting to hear on that, he's really just kind of looking at this lesson, just thinking, what in the name of the deities are we going to do with you? Like, and he's already thinking like contingency plans, like, do I freeze the water and just walk out there and just hope the guy that he doesn't shred me to death? Is the silent monolith going to give him a way to communicate with this thing and say, this is the problem, go fix it? Right now his head is just a buzz, unfortunately, with the what ifs. And anyone who has seen me play my characters and has seen enough of me knows I hate doing the what ifs. I hate the what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? Well, is this going to go this way or that way? No, you do it at the moment, you adapt at the moment, and you go from there. But right now, waiting on an answer, the only thing going through Ilmatar's head is the millions of ways it could go, what if, and how many ways they're going to die, and that there's probably only like one or two ways they're going to make it out of this damn thing alive. And he hopes, and is literally praying as we speak, and he gets to learn one of those very few ways that they will escape alive.
And we will wait on tender hooks for the silent monolith to reply to his priest. We will be back in 2 weeks for session 3 of A Lingering Sickness. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back then. Be safe and be well.